and welcome to day 10 of the Spooktacular Halloween Series. Robyn Pitts, who is Sir Chauncey Rocco Creative Designs here on YouTube, and I are so glad that you decided to join us. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to watch our videos, and I will have Robyn linked in the description box below. And what I have created today are 2 Halloween box cards, and I use an SVG file from the Silhouette store, and I do believe these were designed by Lori Whitlock, and I will have them linked in the description box below. And the paper that I used is this paper I've had in my stash, and I created these for the grandkids, so I pretty much kept them to just the items in the cut file. But I did add some of my Vellum Ghost. As you know, I love working with these, and I just think they add a lot of movement to the project. And the little pumpkins were in the cut file, and she has like a basic box card, and then she has just changed, like this one has a kitten for my granddaughter, and this one has the balloons. And I do believe she had a few others, like one had bats and maybe a ghost and a couple of different ones. And I love the sparkle that the orange glitter paper added to the cards. The grandkids love the shiny things. So I used orange glitter here for the accent, and then I did cut the spiders out with some black glitter, but I think they're just so cute, and I know the grandkids are going to love them. I did use the balloons for my grandson, but my granddaughter really is noticing kittens here lately. I wanted to use that for hers, and I did add a little bow to the kitten. I love how it looks, and then I added a little gem to the bow, and I added a gem here to the center of the spider web. And we'll just do a spin here. And on the back, I did add this decorative paper in the sentiment area. Another thing that was not in the file was the decorative paper that went along here along the bottom. I just thought it added a little bit more interest to the card, so I did add that to both of them. And we'll just take this one. It's, like I said, it's the same except for the balloons here, and we'll just give it a spin as well. And added the sentiment area and the decorative paper on the back, as well as the sides and the front here along the box. And that's what the inside looks like. And I did create envelopes for our cards. So I do have the tutorial for how I put the card together. I showed you how to do the kitten. It's basically the same thing, except for there's a kitten and the balloon. Super quick project to make, so you still have time if you need some Halloween cards. And I do have a tutorial for the envelopes included as well. I wanted to show you how I enlarged the card that we are creating together today. What I did was I have imported the card into my Silhouette software. You would do the same thing if you are importing it to Cricut as well. You want to make sure all of your pieces are grouped together, and these are. So I'm going to go to the little lock that Silhouette and Cricut both have. I want to make sure to click on it to make sure that it is locked. Once it is locked, I'm going to go to the width and highlight that, and I want this to be 11.5 inches. I'll type that in, and then you would select enter, and it changes the height as well since we have it locked. I have our pieces laid out, and I'll just go through them really quick and how I put them together. So we have our black portion for our black cat, and then on the back of the black cat, you will glue the white piece and then the black oval, and then that gives him the color of his eyes, which makes it so much easier than trying to glue little tiny black cutouts on his eyes. So there's our kitty cat. Thanks, so cute. And then we have our pumpkins, and as you can see, I've got some glitter and then a brighter orange, a little bit darker. And then I did put a pop dot on the little pumpkin. And you're just gluing it to this, as well as gluing the green stems. And we have I'll say the front of our card where you can see the window. And you will glue your decorative strips along this top edge on the front. And then when you flip it over, I did cut out some little rectangles to go along the bottom. I wanted some decorative paper along the bottom. So these are 1 3/4 by 1 1/4. And there's 2 of those. And this one is 1 3/4 by 3 3/8. So these 2 are 1 1/4 by 1 3/4. And this one is 1 3/4 by 3 3/8 inches. So I'm going to turn it back over. And I did forget to mention we have the little spider, and I put some pop dots. And then we have this Happy Halloween, and I forgot to put my pop dots on it, so we'll add those. And I did cut out and add some ghosts to mine. I just really like that look. It's a little bit fuller. I did cut some of the vellum ghost out with my Cricut. I love using these, as I've used them, I think, on most of my projects, if I could. What we want to do now is I want to fold, we got the front of the card, and I'm going to fold this over, and we'll go ahead and remove the score tape. And then we're just going to fold this first flap over. And want to make sure everything's lined up along this bottom edge when I fold it down. And just line that up like that. And I'm going to give it a good burnish. I always like to go over it with my bone folder. And then that gives us our square, and those fold down. So let me grab my pop dots. And so I'm just going to take this, and I'm going to line it up. Just a little bit of the purple showing. Now we have our Happy Halloween. We'll go ahead and remove the pop dots from the spider. And I'm going to go ahead and just set it here. So she has, Lori Whitlock is the one who designed this fowl. So she has the basic format, which are the pumpkins and the spider and the Happy Halloween. She has just changed where the one for my grandson has the balloons, the one for my granddaughter has the cat. And then she had several other variations. I think one might have had a ghost. I'm trying to remember. She usually will do a basic format and then change a little bit of each one, so you can get, I'll say, a character that you prefer. And on these pumpkins, I had forgot to mention, I have score tape, which you can use wet glue. I'm just using score tape for the video. I have it on the front and on the back of this tab. So you want to do it the same for the cat as well. So on the right, I have it on the front, and on the left, well, the left, there's score tape on the back. So let's start with our pumpkins. Remove a piece of the score tape since they're, let's see, I'm going to start with the left side. Sorry about that. Go ahead and start with the left. And I'm just going to hold that down. And I'm just going to let it pop open when it's inside there. And I'm letting it hit the front of the box. And now we'll just reach in there and just peeling off the score tape. There we go. It fell down in. So I'm going to turn it sideways now and just try to line it up the best that I can. Make sure your tab is even with this. Your tab is even with that top edge, so it's not showing, and that looks good. So I'm going to push that down like so. And then now we're going to take our cat. We'll fold that forward and just peel that off. And we'll drop our cat down in. And once he's in there, I'm going to let that tab come open that has the score tape. And I'm just going to let that tab go really, really close to the pumpkins. It may be actually hitting it. So there's that side. I'm going to come over here and let's see here, get that tab off. I want it to stick really well. Okay. I've got the tab off, so I'm going to let that, I'm making sure the tab is flush along that top edge so it doesn't show. And I just want to hold it, and I want to line it up where it's fairly even. And that looks good right there. So I'm going to push that tab down. And so that is our card. And like I said, I wanted to add some ghost. So I'm going to put that ghost. Let me get a pop dot for the bottom of it. or actually, let me just put a pop dot here where I know you can't see the pop dot. And I'm just going to, like I said, I have no fingernails. I can get it started, but I can't get a hold of it. So we'll take this ghost, and I'm just going to line it up right about there. And push it down. And that should be good enough. And then I'm going to get another pop dot and put right about here on the back of the pumpkins where you can't see it. Let me put it down just a little bit more right there and try to get that off. And then we'll take this ghost and we'll just set him, we'll just get his arms where you can see him, set him right about there. I just wanted to show you all that I did add a little bow here on the cat's neck. I cut out 2 of them and put pop dots between the layers and put it on the neck. I just really like how that looks, just a little something extra. And on the back, I did make a sentiment area, and this piece measures, the large decorative is 3 1/4 by 6 1/2. And then I just made a small sentiment area since it says Happy Halloween on the front. Of course, you could do it larger. And all I did was 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 square for the white part for me to assign Poppy and Mimi on it for the grandkids. I think these are just a super cute, fun little card for the kids. Put that to the side, and if we have a card, we need an envelope. So I brought in my scoreboard, and I started with a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. And the first piece that I cut out was this 8 3/4 by 10 inches. And I'll lay it over here to the side. So this gave us this scrap and this scrap. So I took the widest and longest scrap and I cut it down to 3 1/4 by 7 1/4. And I will put these measurements in the description box, so always look there and go by those. I know they will be correct in case I say the wrong thing. We have these 2 pieces left, and these 2 are just scrap. I'll lay those to the side. We're going to take our large piece and on the 8 and at the 8 3/4 side, we're going to score at, turn it over here on the white, I think it's a little bit easier, at 1/2 inch all the way down, 3/4 inch all the way down, and then we're going to come over to 8 inches and 8 1/4 inches. We will rotate it to the 10 inch side, and we will score at 5 1/2 all the way down and 5 3/4 all the way down. And then for our 3/4 by 7 1/4, we are going to score at 1/2 inch and at, okay, so we're going to score at 1/2 inch all the way down and at 3/4 inch all the way down. So we have our 2 pieces scored to form our envelope. And the first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead, and this is our 3/4 by 7 1/4 piece, and this is our 1/2 inch gusset here at the top, and I just want to miter ever so slightly on those edges. I'll turn it over, you can see right there a little bit better. I'm going to go ahead and fold these over, and we want to give it a good burnish. Just going to have it on its side, and I want to cut into the 2 score marks that are in the middle, and this is the 10 inch side. So I've got it cut up to the second score line, and I'm going to cut and make a little tab right there. So we'll turn it around once again on the 10 inch side, and I'm cutting at the 2 score lines in the middle, and I'm going up to the second score line like so, and then I'm going to go up to the first score line and cut like that, and that will give us our little tabs. I'm just going to fold those in. Okay, and so what we're going to do is we'll have our pieces here at the top, and the top is longer than the bottom half. And so what we're going to do is we are going to cut out along this score line right here. So here's our 1/2 inch section and our 1/4 inch, and we're going to cut this piece out, that piece out. So we're going to cut both of those out on both sides. And I'm going to get some longer scissors here so I can get it nice and straight. And I'm just going to cut right along the score line, like so. And do the same thing to the other side, right along the score line. Okay, just like so. And so I'm going to go ahead and miter these just a little bit. The top here. Whoops, get my scissors to. Okay, this makes it a little bit neater looking. And what we're going to do now is we're just going to fold these in, make sure our tabs go up, and we're just going to glue this bottom flap up on our 1/2 inch section and make our envelope. And that gives us our gusset, so it will have room for our card. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do my dry fit, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue underneath and just touch it, and then that way I'll know how far to glue up on my side piece here. We'll go ahead and do that. I want to make sure we do it nice gluing amount. And I wanted to mention, this is called a standy glue holder. I did purchase it off Amazon, and I did look. They are completely out of stock, and I cannot find it anywhere unless you're going to pay double the amount. It's just called a standy, S-T-A-N-D-I-Y glue holder. And what I do here along the bottom to keep my foam neat is I put a piece of press and seal over the bottom section, and then when it gets dirty from the glue dripping just a little bit, I will tear the press and seal off and put a new piece. So I've had several people ask about that, so I wanted to let you know what it was. But I absolutely love it. Okay, so now we're going to take this, make sure your tab is folded in at the bottom, and we're just going to fold this, go right up, and we're just going to push it down like so. And let me get this bone folder. It's a little bit thinner, and then I can put it underneath, and I'll have something to press against. Just makes a nice, good seal. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. I'm just going to put a little dot of glue right there, and make sure that piece is where I want it, and then I'm just going to touch it, and that way I know how far to go up with my glue. My glue underneath, and just make sure it's along the bottom, and line it up. Take my bone folder and go in like so. And now what we can do is take our flap, and I'm going to put some glue, and I'm just going to hold this up like so and just line this in the center. And if you've got your, where we did the envelope first, it just helps you line the flap up. Okay, and that looks good. I'm just going to pull up just a hair on that side. And let's make sure it folds over. It looks good. So now I'm going to give it a good burnish. You always want to double check it before you give your burnish with your glue. And then we can use a Velcro dot or a magnet for these, or you could even just glue it shut. Okay, so now we'll take our card for this one. I'm going to fold those up, that way it won't be as bulky. And we'll slide it in here with our ghost, and fits perfectly. Thanks for watching the tutorial, and make sure to visit Robyn Pitts. I'll have her linked in the description box below, and if you have missed any of our videos, I have a playlist in the description box as well. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye-bye.